Hi, my name is Evelyn and today I'm going to be doing a video walkthrough of building a Kallax 5x5 bookshelf by yourself. Before we get started, I do want to say that while this is 100% possible, there is some lifting, about 20 to 30 pounds. You will not be lifting a whole bookshelf, but as a disclaimer, with any strenuous activity, it is recommended that you consult with your physician. Before performing any exercise or strenuous activity, please remember to think about your current level of physical health and whether or not you are able to participate. Please understand that when participating in any exercise or physical activity program, there is a possibility of physical injury, and choosing to engage in this activity is done at your own risk. The Ikea Kallax 5x5 instructions does not recommend building this bookshelf alone. I'm going to show you how it can be done, but if you choose to proceed with the direction of this video, it is done entirely at your own risk, including but not limited to injury, damage to the bookshelf, or damage to your physical property or someone else's property. The construction at the guidance of this video is done entirely at your own risk. Okay, now that we've got all the disclaimers out of the way, let's get started. I'm just going to be doing a talking walkthrough of this exact video. I'm not going to be following all the directions exactly to a T, but it is important to have the directions with you. I've built this bookshelf 3 times alone, so it's not hard. The total time that it took me to build this whole bookshelf by myself while recording was 34 minutes. I cut it down to approximately 22 minutes, and that was really just because I was stepping out of the way to admire my work or move the camera. As you can see in the video, I'm positioning some of the boards in specific ways. There are 4 thicker boards. You're going to have to look at the directions to make sure that you have the correct ones on the bottom and the top. And then there's going to be 1, 2, 3 like skinnier boards. I'm getting the little pieces. You're going to want to screw the bottom board and the top board together. And I can't tell just yet which side is which, but it'll be coming up soon. So I'm actually, I think I'm screwing this is the bottom side that I'm screwing. So the board that's closest to the window is going to be the bottom. So you want to make sure that you get those screwed together in an L shape. I'm probably lifting it up right now because there's the Allen wrench that they give you in the packet. Okay, so I've got those 2 pieces together. As you can see, I now have the little square boards that are going to be going in between. You're going to be attaching these with those little wooden pegs. Again, follow the directions of the actual materials that you need, but we're not going to be following the exact placement, and you'll see why in just a minute or so. Make sure they're all nice and snug in there. I think at one point you see me hammering them in. I've found that to be the easiest way to make sure that they're all put in there correctly. I think we're following the directions almost identically. I don't know because I don't have the directions anymore, but I believe you build the whole bookshelf on the ground. But if you're building this alone, I'm sorry, but it's not really realistic for everybody to lift up one of those 5x5 Kallax shelves. So you see I have all the 4 little boards down there, and then I'm getting ready to put the one of the longer boards. Oh, I gotta put the tops on. Don't forget to put your tops on. not even using a hammer, I'm using a wrench. I wanted to also kind of keep this in like real time, so there is a sped up version. If you haven't found that one, there is also a sped up version, just in case you want to come back and rebuild this bookshelf again. Again, I've already built this bookshelf 3 times. I've had no problems with it. The only time I've had a problem is taking it apart, and I'll explain more about that in a little bit. So here you see me attaching one of the skinnier boards that goes in between the shelves. The thick boards are for the bottoms and the sides, but the skinny boards are what go up in layers. And then of course I'm just positioning all those little pegs in. The fun part. Looking at my clock, we're already like a quarter of a way done. So you've only got 15 more minutes to go. So Okay, there's the thumbs up. That's what you need to do. This is the part that is gonna make it a little easy for a single person. As you see, I just stood it up. And that's why you need to, wherever you're building it, you need to have it lying down so that you can stand it up. But because I'm not keeping it in this room, I'm going to be sliding it into the other room. And here I go. You won't see me sliding it into the other room. I actually decided to put this Kallax Ikea bookshelf into my kitchen because I only had 2 walls in my whole apartment that I could put this Kallax Ikea bookshelf on. I moved into a new apartment that had slanted ceilings, and unfortunately the bookshelf was just too big. So here I'm going to be putting on the second layer or the second row of those square boards. And you're going to do the same thing that you would be doing on the ground, but you're going to be doing it standing up. This I would definitely say be a little bit careful of because of those little wooden pegs. They're fine by themselves standing there, but don't hit them. You'll break the wooden pegs. That's what I'm really going to be talking about once we get closer to the top, because I actually broke 2 of them when I took the bookshelf apart, and I can't get the wooden pegs out. So I'm going to be changing some of the configuration at the top. If you saw the thumbnail of the video, you'll already know what it looks like at the end. But again, we're just going to be doing the exact same thing here that we did with the first layer, except the bookshelf is standing up. So here I am putting on the second skinny board. Was there? Oh, I think there's 4 skinny boards. Did I say 3 earlier? 4 skinny boards. So we're putting these all together, just like we would be doing on the floor. Now, of course, remember that this is actually, I would say this is pretty sturdy. Obviously, if you're going to rock it, it's going to move. So you can see me moving the boards quite easily. So don't do anything too dramatic. Other than that, it's actually going to be pretty okay just standing there. And I'm pushing everything into place. I'm pushing it all down. That's the fun part. And again, we're just going to be repeating the same thing on the next layer. It's not too exciting. More pegs on the top. You're gonna have a ton of these pegs. Make sure they're all nice and snug in there. And now the third board. Okay, now the now the fourth layer. And looking at my clock, we are just about halfway through. So again, most of the hard work is just tedious. It's just putting all of these little individual square boards onto the Kallax Ikea 5x5. I also love this bookshelf. It is huge. It's a statement piece. And I don't know, if you're a single person, I think you should be able to have as many books as you want. But I don't know. I guess Ikea just doesn't want single people to have big bookshelves. All right, putting the next layer on. Now there also is a reason why this bookshelf is built on the ground and then two people have to stand it up, but you're gonna see how I finagle my way out of that. And that will be coming up soon as, oh, here's where, if you can see, I just wiggled a board. It's because I don't have the little wooden dowel that you're supposed to put in there. So what you're gonna see me do is instead of putting on 4 of those square boards, I'm only gonna put on 2 because I actually broke 2 dowels in the actual square boards. So I'm gonna either have to figure out how to get them out in the future, or I'm just gonna have to keep this shelf the way it is. And I actually liked it like this, as long as you have that open top at the top. That way all that weight is not going to be unsupported by nothing. Also, you can kind of see how wiggly this bookshelf gets. So what I'm doing over here is I'm putting on the other side. Now, if you remember from the very beginning, I had everything in that L-shaped, and you have to put the screws in on the bottom. So here we are not putting the screws in just yet. So get your side on, get those little wooden dowels on. And once we get that top on, it's going to be a lot more sturdier. So don't try to put in any screws right now. You see how wiggly that is? That can be a little questionable. When the whole thing is together and it's a nice solid 4 pieces, it's actually really sturdy. Because I don't have kids, I actually don't screw this into the wall. I think there's some pieces that you use to anchor this into the wall. I don't do that, but if you have kids, you're gonna want to do that. So I'm also quite short. I'm 5'2", so here I am using my little handy dandy step stool to get myself on top. You're also going to have to screw everything in on the top. So you're gonna, if you're not tall enough, you're gonna need some kind of a chair or a step stool. Again, also aligning things that are going in here. And because this bookshelf was in my kitchen, I actually used this not only as a bookshelf, but I used it for some like dishes, like plates and glasses on the top. So it was really nice to have that open cutout. Again, I wouldn't recommend that for the bottom because those thinner boards can start, I think they're called bowing. Maybe they'll start bowing in. They'll start bending. You can't put too much weight on those. So I was okay because obviously I didn't have very much stuff that was going on the very tippy top. But depending on how you're going to be styling your bookshelf or what you're going to be putting on it, those center boards might be more important to some and less important to others. Here you see me screwing on there's 4 screws that are going to go on the top. So I'm putting in those 4 screws on the top. Of course, the oven's in the way, so that's okay. Got one side. And you can see already the bookshelf is becoming much, much, much more sturdier. It is important to know that you need to put the 4 screws on the top before we even tackle the bottom, because yep, I'm gonna put screws on the bottom just because it'll keep everything all together nice and sturdy. The side is only being held on by those wooden dowels, so it is important to get those bottom screws on. Side. All right, also we're 3/4 of the way through. So we got 5 more minutes. Okay. Okay, everything is all screwed on top. Now I'm pushing the bookshelf away from the wall because what we're going to be doing is actually we're going to be leaning the bookshelf into the wall. Oh, I guess I have one more screw to put on. Yay! Okay, this is the only downside of like real time is, boy, there's a lot of downtime. Just screwing and putting in those square boards. Making sure everything's nice and tight so that the bookshelf is nice and sturdy. Okay. Alright. I guess I'm putting the bookshelf. How far or close am I moving it? Oh, I'm pushing it out kind of far. So this is where, you know, I say it'll take about 20 or 30 pounds. It's not super heavy. Oh, maybe I'm pushing it back in. Okay, I guess that's okay. So as you see, I'm leaning it against the wall. I need enough space to be able to put the screw into the bottom and use my little Allen wrench. So I'm doing the one side. And of course, you can't see the bottom because I'm a one-woman show trying to put all the camera work together, and this is in my tiny kitchen. This is why I could not build this bookshelf. Would not lie down in the kitchen. It was too big. So I had to build part of it in the bedroom and then slide it into the kitchen. But it worked out in the end. So here I am putting in the one screw. Normally, what I would recommend is if you obviously have a bigger room, once you get your one screw in, you can take the bookshelf, and then it's not heavy to push, or it's a little heavy, but it's not detrimental, but you can turn it around and then re-lean it against the wall, and then you can just leave it in that direction. So I'm not going to be able to do that in this particular case. And the other 2 times that I've put this bookshelf together, that's exactly what I did. Leaned it against the wall, put in the screw, stood it back up, spun it around, and then leaned it again. Because again, you don't have another person help you, and don't try to be a Superman. Like, you have to protect your body, protect your back, use the wall. It can handle the load. So what I'm going to be doing in the smaller space is on the left side of the screen, or where I am, there's actually a kitchen cabinet, like for cups and plates and food. And so I'm actually going to be leaning it against the kitchen cabinet. So this obviously is a little bit more challenging than doing the top ones, because I'm struggling on some level to finish screwing in the bottom screw for the one side. But looking at the time markers on my video, we've got less than 2 minutes, so I'll be done in less than 2 minutes. Apparently after I'm done screwing in the bookshelf. So should be finishing up pretty soon. Okay. There we go. There's one side, and then I guess I was not having too much fun with that. And then I'm standing it back up. Look how sturdy that is. Ah, it looks so sturdy. Now I'm pushing it out, because remember, I cannot spin it around, and I'm pushing it against that that cupboard. So I'm going to be leaning it on the other side. Again, this is where you have to be careful, use your own judgment, because you don't want a bookshelf falling on you. So you want to make sure that you're leaning it over far enough, but not too far where you're going to get hurt, but not far enough where it's going to topple down on you. I also think that you could see one of those like little shelves moving. I had this bookshelf up for almost a year like this before I moved again. And then that shelf never caused any problems. It wasn't obviously the sturdiest, but if it's there, the plates and stuff that I had on top could still anchor it down. So it was, to me, it was perfectly fine. Do what you feel comfortable with. Put all your shelves together. That's what I've always had before. This is the first time I've ever had it with an open top. But here I am pushing against the wall, and then you get to do all the fun stuff. You get to style it. But that's it. That's all I have for my building a Kallax 5x5 alone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If any questions, leave them down below, and I finished the show. So thank you guys for watching if you've made it this far. Again, have a great day. Have any questions, just leave them down below. There will be a shorter video, so if you want to come back and watch the shorter video, if you want to take this apart, rebuild it, in the future, which I can't do right now, I can show you guys how I take it apart if that's what you'd like. But anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye.